Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad, and you're listening to Coffee with Dad podcast. Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad, and I'm glad to be back on a podcast. So I've got lots of exciting news we're going to talk about today. I'm going to start doing these podcasts more regularly. So I do apologize for the big delay there. Just got caught up in a bunch of reviews, and this is actually really important, and I'm pretty excited about today. So Black Friday's coming up. It's just the first week of November, but I'm already starting to see some signs of Black Friday sales starting to come. I don't know exactly what the days are going to be or the sales yet, but I got some that I'm anticipating, and we're going to go through maybe kind of some that I think are going to be good deals if they do go on sale. We can kind of go off some of our previous history, Prime Big Deal Days. I'll go over some of those sales that were just extremely good. I anticipate some of those sales coming back. And so I'm going to talk about the ones that I'm anticipating. Again, I don't know exactly what the sale price is going to be. I don't know when or if it's going to go on sale, but these are the ones that I'm hoping for. So I've got some new camera setups today. I've got this wide angle shot. You can kind of see the podcast room. Just trying different things. Let's go back to the main one. And then we've got some pictures in pictures. So all right, these were this was Prime Big Deal Days in October. So these sales, these robot vacuum cleaner sales I've never seen anything like them, because you'll have a big sales event where there's a bunch of them on sale, and then 3 weeks later, the one or two of them will go on sale for just as low as they were during that sales event, or maybe even a little bit cheaper. So I've never really seen that. Typically, you see things go on sale around big sales events, Prime Days, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday and that. But then at these random times of the day or the random times of the week or month, a robot will go on sale at a great discount. So I've come up with a way. I'm going to show you. I got a website now, justadadapproved.com. And if you go on this website, there's a don't miss a deal. So thankfully, I have a YouTube channel, and then people leave me comments all the time, and they're constantly telling me when something goes on sale, and I'm very thankful for that. And what I do is I pass that along to everybody else. I'm constantly on Amazon too, so I'm constantly looking at the prices of robots, just researching in general, and then these sales just come out of nowhere. So if you sign up for my email list, I'm not going to send out a bunch of emails just when robots that I highly recommend go on sale. And again, this is my website, so once you sign up for the email, this is going to be a great go-to place for the Black Friday sales. I'm going to post my picture. It's very simple. This was the previous sales, robots on sale. I'll try to make it as easy as possible. Now, again, I do use links. If you click on one of these, buy it on Amazon right now, it's going to take you right to Amazon. And then I do earn a small commission from that sale. It's a way of helping support my channel. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to improve this website a lot, but I'm still going to make it very simple. Here's my top 12 picks. This isn't going to change a whole lot. I know there's been a bunch of robot vacuum cleaners come out. That's going to be in my next podcast. I'm going to talk about all the future and kind of my future with robot vacuum cleaners. So don't miss that one too. That's going to be coming out real soon. I'm going to try to release these once a week. So here we have, even the Dyson 360 nav. That thing's $500 now. I have it at my house and I'm using it and I love it. But it struggles getting back. It struggles getting stuck in places. But again, I don't mind that as much because of how well it does vacuum. But it's just vacuum only, and it's a real pain to empty out the dustbin. So again, the best place to go. And then I'm going to update these pictures. So if you click on Amazon, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a separate page for the Amazon Prime Days. I think I might put that just on the main page. I don't want to make this a bunch of clicking around on my webpage. So Prime Big Deal Days. These are using a whiteboard is just the best thing in the world, because the day of the sale, I get up early and I write down all the prices, and I don't really know yet where the buys are. I don't really know where the best robots are because it doesn't make a lot of sense. But what I do is I finalize it, and then I come up with this. This is just a really simple go-to picture that you can see. These are my top robots. And if we look, here's how I came up with that. This is overall. So I wrote down every single sale that was for Prime Big Deal Days. And again, I anticipate a lot of these being the same price. I don't know if they'll be cheaper. I would hope so. They might be a little bit more, but these are still really good prices. So I wrote down all the robot vacuum cleaners that I've reviewed, that I kind of know about. There's some off the list, but these are the ones that these are just very competitive robots and it's going to come down to price. So as we can see, the Dreame D10 Gen 2, $189, but I do recommend people stepping up if you can. Now, there's some issues with the Roborock Q10 S5. I think I've heard some people in the comments saying there's a wheels issue. The wheels are failing on the Roborock Q10, so I might hold off on that. I've been seeing that more than once. I've seen about 5 or 6 comments, and usually 5 or 6 comments on my YouTube channel ends up being quite a bit more than just 5 or 6 people. So again, then I wrote in red, the Dreame L10s at $300. I can't stress enough how that's an old robot. And I'm just so thankful that they've lowered that price to $300. That's the entry level. That's the entry level for a robot that mops and has a base station that washes the mop pads. I've not seen anything cheaper. I mean, if we see below $300, this is going to be mind blowing. Under $300, you're starting to get into where you've got to take the mop pad on and off, and you've got to do a little bit more work. But man, when they have a base station that does all the work for you, the Dreame L10s is just $300. I'm hoping to see that. I'm hoping to see the Dreame D20. I get a lot of this. Turned out to be even more than I originally thought. I get a lot of questions on, I just want a robot that vacuums and doesn't mop. And I'm afraid to tell you that robot manufacturers are not taking that very seriously. They are all in on robots that vacuum and mop, have mop pads. Thankfully, though, with the Dreame D20, you are able to let's just go to a little different look here. Thankfully, with the Dreame D20, you are able to just take the mop pad off. And then that way, it's just a vacuum. It's not a very good mop anyway, but they do claim it, and they do charge a little bit more for the mop pad, and it's got the water tank. Just don't put any water in the water tank. So that question is turning out to be huge. And I thought it was huge a couple months ago. And I thought, well, that's probably the amount of people I've heard from. I continuously hear more and more people say they want a robot that just vacuums only. And so the Dreame D20, there's 2 models, the Pro or the Plus. And again, sometimes the Pro's cheaper than the Plus. The Pro's better. It's got a brush that reaches into the corner, which is pretty cool. But sometimes it's about $30 more, which may not be worth it just for that. So again, these are the past sales. And then we go up. But for $300, that Dreame L10s has a mop pad that washes the mop pads. You can see the word price. This is all about price. I've got a good idea of what robots do now and how good they are, but price, and that's what's always subject to change. And sometimes that Dreame L10s is like $600. That's not a buy for $600. There's other robots, even at full price, are better buys. So we've got to take advantage of these big sales coming up Black Friday. Leave in the comments what you are looking for. I did a poll. A lot of people are looking for robot vacuum cleaners, and it's just a great time to buy a robot vacuum cleaner. You're going to get an extended, what I call return or warranty. It's just till the January 31st. You have to return it. Just gives you more time to get this robot, use it, and see if you're going to like it. If you are not going to like it, if it's got a bunch of hassle, that's the best time to return it. After that 30-day window from the manufacturer, and after this extended window from like Amazon, it is extremely hard to return it and get your money back. So, but that's hopefully using my website, using the robots that I recommend, you're going to eliminate that hassle factor. Now, you can always get a robot that's just broke out of the box. Even I do. I get robots that break after the first week. They might have been broke already, but they kind of identify themselves after you use it for a while. You're like, oh, this thing's broke. And then you get some that are just broke out of the box. I've had 2 of them lately. I really don't hold that against manufacturers. That just happens. And so we move on down. The Dreame L10s, there's several versions of it. There's the original one, which you talk about $300. Then they've got a Gen 2 and a Pro, which is a heat. And I'm seeing those down to around $400 now. Again, extremely good robots, a little bit older, but there's going to be a theme here. We're not talking about new robots that have been just released. There's a lot of Gen 1 robots out here, these mop rollers, the Aqua 10, the Mova Z60. I'm still in the early stages of the testing. The testing's going okay. I'm still not 100% on board. A mop roller is always going to clean better. There's no disputing that. It's just how they do it. And sometimes the robots just, in my opinion, have too many moving parts, too much. We don't want this to become a hassle, in my opinion. Eufy put their stuff on sale, but those Eufy C20s are just pretty old, in my opinion. They're just lacking a little bit. We've got some other robots here that just have a lot more features. Roomba's going to heavily discount their products, I imagine. They love to put their stuff on sale. Big discounts, like 50% or something off. That 405 was $379. I think it even went a little bit cheaper than that for a day, like on the third day. I can't remember. It still wasn't a buy for me, but I am glad to see that it goes on a pretty big sale. If you are wanting an American company, I think the robots are made overseas, but it is an American company in Massachusetts. I've talked to them about some problems I had with the 705. But so if you are wanting to have a robot from an American company, Roomba is the 405. If you end up buying it, it's going to do okay. You're not going to have the hassle factor like you did with the old ones. Don't stay away from the i5s, the i3s, and all that. Even the J7s and all of that. That's an old app. The new Roomba has a new app, LiDAR navigation. These are doing okay. They just have very few features that kind of enhance the robot to help it clean, like the Dreame L10s and the Mova. So then we scale up here. We're going to go right on up to the Mova P10 Pro, and you can see the ones that in red made it to my list. So again, this list on the left here, the Mova. Oh, wait a minute, I got it messed up here. Let me go over here and get this other one. There it is. Nope, that's not it. We could just see it on the website there. That's, there it is. I don't know what that other one was. Okay. This is the one, I put the one here on the left. This is the one I'm going to post on my website, justadadapproved.com. There will be links so that you can quickly, if you don't have time, I will be posting videos. Like, I imagine Prime Days are going to start probably maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe 6 days ahead of Black Friday. I don't know. But as soon as the deals are released, there's going to be some early Black Fridays. There was last year. I anticipate early Black Friday deals. Some of those are pretty good. Black Friday, I think, probably is the best day to get the best sales. But I will be doing videos leading up to that week. Some of those sales may only last during early Black Friday. I'm not really sure. Then there's Cyber Monday. So I will be, there's a couple things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing videos where I show you that I write down all of this stuff on the whiteboard, and then I immediately go to the main board. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. I'm going to have the robots in front of me. I'm going to talk about some of the features real quick. So if you aren't as familiar with the robots, I can kind of show you some things that are working pretty good. And so, then I'll take that picture and put that right on my website. So the Mova P10 Pro, as we can see, $449. That thing, it's my number one robot. It got the 2025 award of the year from me. And is it the best robot money can buy? Well, there are more expensive robots that do clean a little bit better, but like the Mova V50 is my number two. It's $1,000. Well, does the Mova V50 clean twice as good as the Mova P10 Pro? No. Does it have some really nice features that, make it a buy? It definitely does, but it does cost twice as much. And so it's just in this entry level. I think there's people that have robots and they may be looking for upgrade. I think that percentage of the population is small. I think the biggest percentage, and I'm just going off of who I talk to around my town and everything, I think the biggest percentage of people are people that may have had an old Roomba, had a bad experience with it bouncing off the walls, or may have never had a robot. So that's who I'm going after, is teaching them about this Mova P10 Pro, this $450 price range is a sweet spot for jumping in robot vacuum cleaners. You can spend $1,000, and again, it's got a lot of the same stuff that the Mova P10, but I don't think there's a real reason. If you're kind of on the fence, if you're kind of a little leery about it, like, I don't know, are these things really clean? Is he just saying this? They actually do really, really clean. So, and this is just a great price point. Whenever that robot first came out, what used to go on sale for $400, we don't see $400 anymore. Maybe we will on Black Friday. I don't know. That would be pretty cool. So, and then there's a Dreame L40, which is very closely identical to the Mova P10 Pro. Those two go back and forth on and off sale. The reason the Mova P10 Pro is my number one pick is when it goes to full price, it goes to $600, which I'm still okay with. If you buy a Mova P10 Pro at full price, $600, then you're going to get a great robot, and that's not too bad of a price. The Dreame L40, on the other hand, its price fluctuates too much for me. When it's $449, it's a great robot to get. And I did tell my sister she was looking for a robot during Prime Big Deal days, and the day she was looking, the Mova P10 Pro wasn't on sale for $49, but the Dreame L40 was. And it might have been before Prime Days. I think it was. I told her to get the Dreame L40, and she loves it. So those two, depending on where the better price is, I would get either one. Okay, so we're back to the Mova P10 Pro again, $449. I'm hoping to see that on sale for that. And again, I tell people that's just a sweet spot to jump into robot vacuum cleaners, because I think the sweet spot to jump in is robots that vacuum and mop your house. But again, there's these people that do not want mops, and the Dreame D20 seems to be a pretty good one. And then we can start going up in price. The Dreame L10s Gen 2 was $500. I know that price jumps around a bunch. There's these new L40s. They came out with 3 new models. I'm not a big fan of those models yet. The prices really just haven't come down yet. They're not huge improvements over like the Mova P10 Pro, in my opinion, right now. And in fact, the L40S, the Dreame L40S, it's the CE. It has fewer features than the Mova P10 Pro. So I anticipate those, if anything's told us the past, these robots continuously come down, and they continuously make these, even though they might be a year or 2 old. So that's really, really good for us as consumers. I thought these old models would be discontinued and that we would never see them again, but I'm glad to see that Dreame L10s went to $300. I mean, that thing, in all rights, probably should have just been discontinued. I mean, it's a decent robot, but it's probably going to impact some of their sales of their their bigger robots. And it became very clear, Eufy X10 Pro Omni, that's an older robot. It was $600. At that price, there's just better robots. That thing's older, in my opinion. Then there's the Roomba 505. It's got better obstacle avoidance, but again, just really lacks in its cleaning capability. But if you do end up getting it, it's going to be okay. Eufy E25. I know haven't done a whole lot with the Eufy E25, E28 lately. Just had too many problems with the E25. Now, Eufy's been very good with customer support, and their customer support is very good because the Eufy robot had an error in the app, and in the app, I was able to say, okay, send this error code to Eufy, and then Eufy contacted me, and so that worked very well. That's the future of how things are going to be. But I did have to send it back, and I do have a new one. I did some more testing with it because it is a mop roller. It uses less water, which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I know they did drastically reduce the amount of water it uses because it was leaking. So just kind of on hold for that right now. Roborock, that Roborock Edge S5A, $650. That right there was, if you can jump up in price a little bit from the Mova P10 Pro, that S5A, it gives you, it doesn't have a camera on it. So if you're worried about privacy, it doesn't have a camera on it. It's got really good obstacle avoidance, great dock, it just has a lot of good things going for it. The Freo Z10 was at $650. That's not too bad of a robot. I've got some things to say about Narwal here later in the podcast. And then we jump up into the bigger ones. The Mova P50, $700. That's a really good one. Again, Dreame L40s, Narwal freeze. But see, then I went to the Curve X. That Curve X was a brand new. That's probably the most current, the newest released robot that I'm highly recommending was the Curve X. And I just finished up bringing it from my house for 3 months. It did really good. Now, was it perfect? No. None of them are absolutely perfect. It's got a little problem with keeping its lid on. If you watch my video, the 3-month test, I was just shocked about the dust bag, how full it was. And I went over kind of my impressions of it. So I always do that 3-month. It varies, 3 months, 6 months. I take it to my house. I just use it. It's just the best way to keep an eye on it. You know right away if a robot starts giving you, it just shows its ugly head. I don't know how else to say it. When I take a robot to my house, I put it on an aggressive schedule. It's going to clean at least 2 to 3 times a week, different rooms at different times and like that. So you're going to know right away. You walk by the dog. Oh, it's not the dog. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's got something wrapped around. Oh, it's stuck on this. Oh, I'll put a no-go zone here. Okay, that's okay. And then you finally are like, I've got 12 no-go zones and this thing's just constantly getting stuck. That was not the case with that one. I did have to put a few no-go zones. That leads me to, I do like LiDAR. I want that LiDAR navigator, that circling LiDAR to be maybe fixed, but on the front of the robot. I think they do better when they're on the front of the robot. But then we go down the curve and the edge. That's amazing. The Curve X is an upgrade from the Curve, and the Curve was $949. So the Curve is older, not much, and the Curve X has a lot more advanced features, and it was cheaper. So that's why these sale prices are just, they don't make a lot of sense. That's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I made the baseball cards, which I'll talk a little bit later here. I'm still needing help. If somebody has some ideas on these baseball cards, that's where I can't remember all these robots, all the information all the time. So when I'm doing the review and when I write my baseball card about it, then when these sale prices go, then I can just start moving the cards with the robot information on around, and it just becomes very clear where the winners are. Mova V50 was $1,000. And I tell people when the Mova V50 is $1,000, that it's called the Mova V50 Complete. When it's $1,000, it's as if it's an $800 robot because it comes with about $200 worth of parts, which is unheard of. None of these other robots come with very many parts. Robots from Costco come with a lot of stuff in them, which is nice. And I can do I've done some Costco reviews. I bought some Costco robots. They're essentially the same as these others. They just throw a different name on them. It's very convoluted and hard to figure out, but I'm trying. It just costs a lot of money to get all those robots, even though it's just a little bit different. And then the Dreame X50, there's the Dreame L50. It was $1,000. I learned something new. So I was assuming, and I may throw the Matrix 10 and the Mobius. I'm hoping those go on some big discounts. They're not going to go on a super big discount, but those are actually pretty good robots. The Matrix 10 is at my house right now. So if you watch my videos, I'm just going to make sure I'm recording you up. The Mova V50, the Dreame L50, and the X50, they all have this similar design. They have these robotic feet. But what I'm learning is these robotic feet, even though they look identical, each of those robots have a different threshold that they go over. I don't know the exact specs. I'll have it on my website with the baseball cards. But I've just learned that they're all just a little bit different. And those robotic feet work very well. Now, if you're thinking of getting a robot and you've got a home with a lot of thresholds, that Mova V50 is the one to get, or a Dreame L50 or a Dreame X50. They got these robotic feet that lift it up over thresholds, almost 3 inches. It's absolutely amazing how it works. I mean, they figured that out. Then you have the Roborock Edge S5A. That's about a 7-month-old robot. It went down to $1,200. It's a pretty expensive robot. That's one of their flagship robots. I'm starting to notice the mop-pads. There's motors that drive them. Compared to the Mova V50, the Edge S5A is quite a bit louder. Now, it's not loud to the point where it's annoying. But when you do the Mova V50 or the Dreame L50 or the X50, you're just like, oh, these things are noticeably quieter. And the Edge S5A has like older wheels. I don't want to call them older wheels, but just wheels that kind of like you can kind of hear the road noise. The V50 and the L50 have these special leap wheels that you just don't hear. They're practically silent. So these were the big deals. And again, I'm going to demystify this for us. Cause I'm going to have people asking me, family members, and then I'll post this on my website, but then I'll put the links readily available. And there was my list, the Mova P10 Pro, 449, Dreame L10s. I put them both there. You have to pick one. And that just all stems from the P10 Pro seems more consistent with sales and its price range. I don't want to recommend something that when it is full price, it goes to an extreme high. So, and then that Dreame L10s, I mean, that's my mother-in-law still has that. I think it's going on 1.5 years, maybe almost 2 years. Haven't had any problems with it. It cleans her house almost twice a week, I think. She's now starting to do the maintenance on it. So it's just, I used to do it. And again, I thought taking a robot to her house was going to be a kind of a hassle, because I'm like, oh, is it going to do okay? It's just, I'm sure once in a while she has to pick it up. She doesn't say a whole lot about it, which is good. She's not saying get this thing out of here. So I'm sure I've heard her say a few times that she has to go find it or something, which we're okay with that. If you have to go find your robot once a week or once a while or whatever, that's not that big a deal. They're all going to run into problems. Nothing is 100% perfect. But that leads me to the Curve X and these robots with the LiDAR that lowers. They get into more mischief. They get into more places where they're so thin now that they just go everywhere. And then they get stuck. And when they get stuck, they're kind of really far under your bed. You got to grab a pole, go grab it, or they're kind of they really hide themselves. That Curve X would be underneath a dresser, which no other robot could go under, but it would go under there and get caught. And then I'm like, where is this? And you would just have to find it. It's just, they get into a lot more trouble, seems like, with that LiDAR that lowers. And then the Mova V50, $1,000. That was my order. That's Sarles. I haven't had the Sarles 10R on the list. It's a good robot, $1,200. It looks, the Roborock robot is just extremely well built. I mean, these other ones are too. They're just robust. You have to include that Sarles 10R on there. It's just a really solid robot. This Mova E40, keep an eye on. I think I saw that drop a little bit lower than $379. That will become a buy when it gets around $300. If it's around $320, $340, it might be a little bit better buy than even the Dreame L10s, the $300 one. So, because it mimics the Mova P10 Pro. They just it doesn't have a side brush that extends. It doesn't have the dirt detection sensor. The dock's a little bit older. And then the budget, this is the hardest category. This budget line, I'll bring it up here. It is the hardest category. There. This whole budget line right here. The Q10, I don't know if the Q10 is going to make it on my list or not. Again, I've had some people saying there's 4 models of it, Q10 S5, and there's the X5. It did seem like a pretty solid robot when I was using it. I never really had any problems unless the dock was not on carpet. So make sure the dock is on carpet, or not on carpet. Make sure the dock is on hardwood floors, because it does have a little trouble docking if the dock is on carpet. So the Dreame D20, $300. There's this older Dreame D10 Gen 2. It went down to $189. It's older. It's got a mop on it. Don't use the mop. It's a terrible mop. Just leave the mop pad off. And thankfully you can take that mop pad off and it doesn't hinder the robot. I know Eufy or the Mova makes one that if the mop pad's held on with Velcro and you can't take the pad off. So then you're dragging Velcro around. So that it has low suction. It's got LiDAR navigation. It uses the Dreame app. $189. The Eufy C10. It went down to $189. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's really meant for a smaller home. The Shark, I do recommend this one Shark AI. I've gotten all the Shark robot vacuum cleaners. I do have their new one. I suspect it going on sale. It's called the Thermocharge. I just did a bunch of reviews on it. It's got potential. It's not a huge improvement, but there are some huge improvements on it. So, but again, it's going to come down to price. When that robot, it is an American-made company American company that, they probably sell or they make their robots overseas. But, so Shark is another one if you're thinking about getting a robot vacuum cleaner. They do have some more higher end ones. Probably should do a video Shark against iRobot and just see. Let's see. That's probably a really good idea. But I get really upset with Shark because they have so many model numbers and so many different distinctions, and they have a 2-in-1 that mops that is completely awful to get, but they'll heavily discount it and they're still selling it. And people just have a lot of frustration with it because it doesn't have a carpet sensor and stuff. So, and you can always find those at justadadapproved.com. That's my website. Again, and I just lost everything there. Yeah. So again, Prime Big Deal days are over. And then here's the videos that I made. And again, these videos are for, I forget exactly how long they are, but I've already done the research. So then it's just merely presenting the information to everybody. So I will be doing these all during Black Friday, leading up to Black Friday and on Black Friday. I know we're having Thanksgiving, but I'll have to make the video. Have to find time for it. I'm going to be doing some live streams. I think people have a lot of questions, and I want to be able to answer questions because there may be something on sale that I missed. I know during the last Black Friday, I think I missed 1 or 2 robots. I mean, I try really hard. And there was 1 or 2 that went on sale that somebody told me about. And I go, oh man, if I just would have saw that, I think that might've made the list even or something, but I don't remember exactly what it was. And then I will do one for every day. And then I'll be doing live streams on YouTube. Sometimes I do a live stream on Amazon. Those are kind of fun. I've got the robots. It's easy just to grab them. I can just flip my iPad up, my iPad Pro, hit live, and tag a few products. And it's just, I want to help people. That's the main purpose behind my videos, is just to help people. And so I did buy these robots with my own money. I wasn't paid for these videos. I can give my honest opinion to buy them, on which ones to buy. And I've got other deals. I'm going to be updating this. If you are looking to get them at Walmart, looks a little different, but you can get some of these at Walmart. Walmart's very limited on what robots you can get. And in stores, even worse. Walmart has got to up their game. I mean, I don't know why in store, some of the robots every time I'm in Walmart, I go buy the robots or the vacuum aisle, and it's the robots. Some of those have been there 2-3 years. I'm like, things are advancing so much. It is incredible. I do vacuum cleaners. I also sell my own coffee, Just a Dad Coffee. Click on here. It takes you to Just a Dad Coffee. This stems from, I reviewed a ton of coffee makers. It's what I did before vacuums. I enjoyed it. It was just a big mystery to me. I have, and that's kind of where my channels come from. It's demystifying things that are a mystery. And coffee was a big mystery to me. I didn't start drinking coffee till I was probably, 7 years ago? So 45 or 47 or something. And I didn't understand it. And you ask people and, you get, I don't know. I didn't get a lot of good answers on like, how do you drink coffee? Like, how do you drink it black? Well, you just drink it black. Well, I tried drinking it black and I couldn't. So then you got to add all the sugars and stuff. And then, how much sugar and all that. So, and then what coffee maker to get? So then it just went down this rabbit hole of like, well, I'm going to figure this out. And so that's what I did. And then it made sense towards the end I basically ran out of coffee makers to review. And then I was like, well, let's develop a coffee that tastes good in a coffee maker. And I think we did a good job. I met with the roasters down in St. Louis. They really helped me. And it's just a really good tasting coffee. So Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee. It's one flavor, hopefully maybe some more in the future. K-cup form, whole bean, and already ground. And there's where you can buy it. There's the prices. And then I'm going to do, vacuum cleaners. I'll have a list. I'm going to be giving out awards for these. These wet, dry floor mops are extremely popular. And these are just, if you're ever curious of a present you need to buy your dad or anybody, it doesn't matter. These are just gifts that I use. Like that DeWalt screwdriver set, I've had to buy 2 or 3 of those because I'll go down and help my son. And I'm like, well, here, just keep it. It's a great thing to have. And then I end up buying myself. And then these are just cheap gifts. That's under $50. I forget exactly what the price is. Everybody needs an atomic clock. a belt and different things. And there's some more expensive gifts that actually do make sense, these ratchet straps and stuff. So this website I'm going to develop, again, it's to help people. It's just to get you the information quickly. Videos are one way of explaining things, but a lot of times, and I think over half my views come from mobile for my website. So just getting that information people want to see quick. Then I even have the coffee makers. I need to update a little bit. I grew up on a Bunn, or I didn't grow up. My dad grew up on a Bunn coffee maker. So that was, of course, my first one to get. And it's a great coffee maker. I see why he used those all those years. So Amazon, then home. Yep. We scroll down. So this will be updated with all the sites and everything. Let's switch over to, yeah. Okay. So those are again, leave in the comments what you're looking for. And then that way I can kind of keep my eye on it too. This is just a great time to buy. I can't stress that enough. We don't see these sales all the time, in this massive a quantity. Okay. So this is kind of a thing. This has really shown itself in the last 3 months. I didn't used to think this was that big of a thing. So you may get a robot, or you may get another appliance that sits in the box and you don't open it right away. Well, please open these up as soon as you get them. I know it can be hard. For these, I have the video on how to set them up. You're going to have to set aside some time, an hour and a half, 2 hours to set the thing up. I get it that we don't have time. But the reason I say that is because I've had so many experiences with robot vacuum cleaners that I get bad ones. I've done the contacting the manufacturers. They're all about the same, except for one. Narwhal's a little bit not as good in my opinion, but they're all very strict on this 30-day return policy. Now, they give you a 1-year warranty. That 1-year warranty means that they're going to fix it. Maybe. So open these up and start using it, because we've got to take advantage of this return policy, this 30-day. And again, that's why this extended holiday return policy. If you've ever been to an Amazon return store on January 31st, that is everybody returning all these presents that they got, or that people, because what happens is people buy them in November and then they don't get the present until December. And then you got up till January 31st to return it. So you've got this big window. Now, if this is going to be a present for somebody, then obviously it's going to have to sit. Thankfully, it can sit there, and then you can open it up on Christmas. And then you do have a month and a week to open up. But I just can't stress this enough. Open them up, because returning through Amazon or even Walmart is extremely easy during that return window. Buying these off of the manufacturer site, I'm just a little hesitant on this right now. I do buy robots off the manufacturer websites, and I have, and kind of part of the experience it comes from is I did buy the Narwal Freo Flow, a new mop roller, off of their website, just because I try to get these robots as quickly as possible so that I can start reviewing them and get the videos out. But their return policy is very strict on their websites. After that 30-day window, it's no. I don't know how else to say that. And then if they will repair it, again, I've had Dreame robots that have failed. I've had Mova. I've had Eufy. I've had iRobot. I've had Shark. All these companies operate about the same. You may call somebody, and they may answer, but it's going to immediately be sent. You're going to be doing this all through email eventually, because then they may want some video. They may want some pictures. They're going to want the proof of purchase. So there's this process that takes quite a few days. A lot of times you're dealing with somebody overseas, because you can tell the delay of a day or two. Now, eventually they do repair them. I mean, I have sent Dreames in. I've sent Eufys in. I've sent Roombas, Sharks. And so this process does happen. You got to be patient with all of them. Unfortunately, with the Narwal Flow, I started an email 2 weeks after the 30-day window. I'd finally had it with the Narwal Flow. I know there's been I've done a lot of videos on it. I've tried to give it I've tried to be as honest as I can with it, but it will not clean my my studio here. It keeps getting stuck on. I have 3 rugs that have some minor black edging, and it just can't handle it. So I've tried every way, remapping, resetting, waiting for the updates and all that. So finally I started this email with them of like, hey, I would like to return it. Okay, it's past the 30-day window. There's no way they're going to return it. Okay, I get that. Then I started a new email of, hey, I think my robot actually has a problem. It won't, it's getting stuck. I would take little videos, I would upload them and show them different things. And now I did not disclose I was a YouTuber. I don't want that to influence it. Anytime I contact these manufacturers, it's always going to be through my personal email, contacting them like a consumer. If they see that I have a YouTube channel, they're probably going to be like, oh, here's one, just, we're getting, because they want the video to be just as all glowing as could be. But so I spent over 20 emails with them on this, and I could tell it was not going anywhere. It was every email reply was pretty much the same of, hey, we're continually updating the software, and hopefully the software update will be a big fix for you. And, on that. So it was a little disappointing in my opinion, but I'm glad it happened. I mean, I'm stuck with a robot that can't clean my, my studio. A robot has to get past my studio before I can even take it home. I've had robots that maybe struggle a little bit at the studio because it is pretty cluttered. And then I take them home and they do very well. But this one can't even get past my studio test. And so I'm not going to take it to my house. And so, yeah, I'm glad this happened. I'm out. I think I paid $1,300 for that robot. It's a robot that I can't really use. Maybe I'll see if I can give it to someone of my family members or something. But I'm glad it happened because it just brought to light this process that we need to open these boxes. We need to take advantage of these return windows. So what I tell people is open the box, use this thing a lot. Put it, see if you're going to like this robot. If it becomes a hassle, you're not going to use it. And hopefully the robots that I recommend are not going to be a hassle. If it is a hassle, I suspect there might be something wrong with it. Or I'm not able to test every single floor material. And I'm learning a lot about floor materials. And in fact, in my next podcast, I'm going to be talking about my future with robots and cleaning in general. I've got to do more with flooring. There's quite a bit of different flooring out there. I'm trying to get the most common. I'm trying to see which ones do the best on what flooring. So I do understand that because we are headed to robots that mop a lot. I think that is the future. And so I've got to do more testing with different floorings and how they mop. So with that being said, open these, use them, take advantage of this return window and keep the box. I threw one of the Eufy boxes away. And if you ever have to box up a robot vacuum cleaner without its box, it is extremely hard. I don't know if that robot made it down there in one piece or not because I didn't get the same one back. Sorry about that. Okay. New robots. I did buy the DJI. So I hesitated. I hetated a bunch. It's expensive. I don't know how, it's super expensive. I bought this clear. Now it is cool. I got this clear one, the I can't say it. DJI Romo. And it does look promising. I've seen lots of early videos of it just doing amazing stuff. We'll see. I had to buy it with my own money. Thankfully, I did wait for it to go on sale. I almost bought it when it was full price, and I thought, I just cannot spend that amount of money on it. This is even extremely hard. I had to wait till the November budget rolled around. So I did buy it. It's over $2,000 with shipping and tax. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know much about this company. But what I do see in the news articles their drones are going to get banned or so. I don't know anything about the company. I see some news clips. I know their drones are pretty good from what I've heard or see news, but I don't know what's going on. So then that kind of makes me leery of like, well, what's going on? Is this robot going to get banned or something? Is it even coming from America? I don't even know. Is this an American? I couldn't get it on Amazon, so I had to get it from the DJI website. I ordered it. It says it's ordered. It doesn't have any shipping information yet. I am excited to get it because I will be putting it through the test. And If it is not performing, it is going back. That's way too much money on a robot. But I'm also curious to see what's this going to be in 2026. Is this, if it is a really amazing robot vacuum, then is it going to be available? I just don't know. There's a lot to see, but it does look pretty cool. Shark. Okay, so Shark does have a new robot out. It's called the Power Detect Thermocharged. I did buy that with my own money. It's actually not too bad of a robot. Their obstacle avoidance is amazing on it, and it's got some pretty cool features on it. I've got a full video on it. I'm glad to see that price is down around $800 right now. So I did end up, when it was full price, that's pretty expensive. It's not worth that, but I am glad to see it at $800 right now. I hope on Black Friday maybe it'll even go cheaper, but they still have their other ones around, of course. And it looks I got the Power Detect 2-in-1, which I have, which it's $100 cheaper. See, this is a classic example of pricing. I just want you to see this. The Shark Power Detect 2-in-1, this one right here, this $900 robot. What is going on? Oh, okay. The price, they didn't show the sale price on the previous page. Okay. $400. See, if that was at full price, that would be a pass. $400, not too bad. It doesn't wash the mop-pad, so. There's the one. I've bought all of these. They're all the same. The Shark 2-in-1 that has this mop-pad, it's so tempting. The pictures look so cool. You have to do a carpet verification run. Its setup is kind of a hassle. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. The Dreame L10s, you're going to be changing the mop-pads for that price. You got to do a carpet verification run. It doesn't have a carpet sensor. It's just, I wish they would discontinue that one, in my opinion. It's so cool looking, and with it being cheap, it just feels like it has such possibilities, but then it doesn't. Okay, I'm glad to see these are just vacuums. These are just kind of old, in my opinion. They didn't really update the brush roller. It does have LiDAR navigation. It's got the older Shark app, so yeah, there's the 2-in-1 Major. What? $700. No. Why is that even on there? And this is the exact same robot. That's on sale. That's got the color scheme of a Costco one. This makes no sense. That robot is the same as this robot. This one's cheaper. I don't like it. I don't like when we confuse customers. So let's go back to here. The Aqua 10, I did buy the Aqua. I got both Aqua 10s. There's an Ultra, and of course they came out with one that's not an Ultra. I say of course. I had no idea they were going to, but they just snuck it up on me. And I did end up returning the Aqua 10. The Aqua 10 Ultra is at my house right now, so it's getting the at-home test, and it's different. How's it going? Yeah, it's going okay. I can tell it's different, and I can tell I'm going to really be watching a few things, especially up against the edge. We just had some new flooring put in, and they put some quarter round, so it's not a perfectly 90-degree angle, and it's kind of struggling with that a little bit, I think. So, yeah, it's just too early. It's kind of made it back. The water is extremely dirty when you dump it out. So I get that. I do get that. That mop rollers just clean better. When their dirty water tanks do seem like the water is a little bit dirtier. Yeah, I got the Mova Z60 still here at the studio. It's got some, it's just not as good as I would like it for it to be. Vacuuming carpet seems to be a weak point. It seems like it was such a great robot that has the mop roller. Just vacuum. If you have dogs and it vacuums carpet a lot and it gets a lot of hair in the dustbin, it doesn't always auto empty the dustbin as good as I would like. And so let's go over, I'm going to show you some of the current sales. We're just about done here, but I'm always going to end with, if you're watching this, I'll get this podcast out as soon as possible. But let's just go over some of the current sales. I'll kind of show you this. Nope, not that one. This one, yeah. Well, let's see what pops up. Okay, Dreame X50, $1,000. That's not too bad. That's like when you see that clock. Yeah, I did return the first one. Yeah, it's a lightning deal. So L50, $1,000. So yeah, you see the mystery behind all of this. So you got the X50, you got the L50. One's $100 more. Well, the LiDAR goes up and down on the X50. The L50 is just fine, I think. Here's the Shark, $700. Eufy E25, that's $629. That's a pretty good deal. I don't recommend the E28. It's just too big. I think it's a monster. The robot's decent, but there's better ones. The Z60's really been going on sale a bunch. Again, I did buy it. It just vacuuming carpet when it's auto empty feature. It just needs to be redesigned. It's not like, they've got a new one coming out too. I got the Mobies. Yeah, well, yeah, they've got a new. So they got a Z60 that's SA. These names are just so. See, it's called the SA. It's what, $200 cheap? No, yeah, $200 cheaper. I'm sure they took some features out. I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. I just have to draw a line somewhere. I got both. Well, maybe since I sent the Aqua 10 back, maybe I should buy this one. Yeah, I'll add that one to the cart. I'm glad this popped up. I need to buy one of these protection plans, but I don't know about these. I guess I'm stumbling on my words because I wish I knew more about these protection plans. And I've always dismissed protection plans because you get caught up in they're just offering protection plans for calculators or whatever. I do think there's a place for these protection plans. I don't know enough about them yet. I need to read them. It would be great if I could use one of, you know what? Maybe I should get the protection plan on the robots that I do buy from Amazon, because sure enough, one of these robots that I buy and keep is going to get past this is actually a really good idea. I'm just having an aha moment. I should be buying this protection plan and giving it a try, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have a robot that's going to fail after my return window. And then I can see for myself. I don't know. They're always offering it. So I do need to. Well, then they got this complete protect. One plan covers all eligible past. What? I need to look into this. That seems too good to be true. I've always just hit no thanks on everything. But I really do need to look into that, because I do think these things are getting pretty expensive. And I do think for expensive things that a protection plan probably wouldn't be that bad of an idea, in my opinion. I don't know why I've just always said no to everything, because you just get used to it. So I'm glad that popped up. And okay, let's go back to current sales real quick. Roborock's got a bunch on sale. There's that Edge S5A. Oh, that's the one I highly recommend. See, it's at the same price that it was for big deal days. It's just a random day of the year. It's November 7th, and that thing's on sale. That's the lowest I've ever seen it. So, but is it a limited time deal? It doesn't have the little clock that's running out. Sometimes these limited time deals will last 3 days. I do try to get I'm going to add that to my email. I'm going to send an email out today. That's just too good of a robot to pass up. And it looks like both the white and the black. And again, the white, I really don't know. I don't have an opinion between white or black robots. I thought it was going to be very clear of, the white one gets scuffs all the time. No. And in fact, the black ones, because my trim's white, the black one seems to show the scuffs a little bit more than the white ones. But these robots, most of the robots that I recommend are not constantly bumping into furniture and getting scuffs. So it really isn't a problem with how it's going to look. I think somebody said in the comments, UV, if it's in the sun a bunch, is it going to turn yellow? I don't know. Typically my robots are not in the sun, so I don't know if that'll be a case or not. There's the Shark. And here's the Eufy S1. It's just kind of old. I am getting the S2 as soon as it's available. I don't know when. There's the S5V. There's the C20 340. So you can see there's these random time sales. And that's where I don't know if I'm going to be getting the Ecovacs Deebot X11. I've had a lot of Ecovacs, and I don't know if that's one's going to be any different. I think I asked in some comments, is it better? And people are saying it's not much better than the X9 and all of that. So that's just super. It is on sale for $1,300, and then it comes down to time. I spent a lot of time on the there was a lot of hype. Was it on the X10 or the X9? I forget. There was just so much hype over, when there's a lot of hype over robots, I get caught up in the hype a little bit of, well, is it really this good? And then I get caught up in, is it something I'm doing? Like, that's what I don't like about all the hype videos. People getting robots sent to them for free. Then they're posting all the big success or the 3-second successes of it. And then it makes me question, am I doing something wrong? So when I got those robots, and then I'm like, the first time I used them, I'm like, well, it's awful. And so then it makes me question what I'm doing. Like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Then I try testing it in several different ways. Then I give it more time. And so and that's a little bit with the DJI right now. I've been seeing a lot, nothing like with the Ecovacs and the Narwal. Their ad campaign is, it's a little off in my opinion. The Mova and the Dreame and the Roborock, I see a lot of commercials from them, which I know those commercials are going to be a little exaggerated or maybe just show you the really good stuff. But with those Ecovacs and Narwal, especially Narwal, you see a lot with other influencers and a lot of like, this is just the best thing in the world. It's the most easiest. It's just the best thing. You see a lot of that. So I'm going to have to keep that in the count. I have seen a few videos coming out, quite a few with the DJI. So we'll see. Those are pretty hypey videos. The ones that I'm seeing, they're like, it's going through a maze of dominoes or something. I mean, I've never seen a robot that could go through a maze. And nothing goes in a straight line like that. These robots have to think. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, if it does do that, that's going to be pretty amazing. So then, see, I'm already questioning myself. Like, so if I get that robot and it doesn't do that, is it something I'm doing? So I don't like seeing. That's why I like showing people real world results. Even on my Instagram, my TikTok account, I'll do 30-second videos. I'll do some of my videos are 10 seconds. It's an actual little clip and the robot's acting. It's doing a really good job, but I don't try to hide anything. Edge S5A, we talked, there's the Cube, that's $469 for the 35 QV35S. That's too much. I think Black Friday deal or for big deal days, we saw that for $400, which it's okay. It wasn't a buy for me though, even at that price. So, all right. Oops. I'm sorry. I wasn't showing this. See, I got a lot to learn. I was not showing the screen and I was talking a whole bunch. So sorry. I was showing people the X11 and different things. So I do apologize for that. I'm still learning. I'm a little rusty with doing the podcast. This is just a lot of fun. I'm excited for this video to release. And again, I look for more coming. I do appreciate everybody's support. Again, my website, that's just so my website. And when people go to my website, it allows me just to do the things that I'm doing. Here's I got my overall video again. And then I got these little fancy push buttons I can do. So my website, just to prove, I'm going to make this better, simpler, easier to use. And again, but those are all links that I'm using. So again, if you click on that link, the product's not going to cost you anymore, but I do get a small commission from sale. I am an affiliate with Amazon and from Walmart. And then it's very, very helpful. I just can't say that enough. And then the baseball cards are going to end up on here. It's taking a little longer than I thought. I've got some time off here right before the Black Friday deals and all that. So me and my wife she's the one doing it behind the scenes. And I'm going to help her figure this baseball card thing out. Thankfully, she can do the spreadsheets pretty good and all that. So we're going to sit down and figure that out because it's just about getting I like to keep information simple. And that's kind of why the whiteboard and everything, it's just all about simple. If things are simple, it's quick, it's easy. I know some of my videos get super long, 2 hours long, and I know there's an audience for that, but I want to make the information that I have as just as quick and easy as possible for people to see. And that's what the Black Friday deals. You know, you're going to have a lot going on. You don't want to research for 3 hours on the best robot vacuum cleaner to buy. You justadadapproved.com is going to have the best sales. I'm going to show you why I come up with what I come up with. I've done some counting. I have over 200 robots right now. And I'm continuously getting more, but I don't know exactly how many reviews I've done on robots. I got to do a little bit more math on that because I've given so many away or sent so many back that they're not all physically here. So I know I've got over maybe 300 robot vacuum cleaner reviews. So that's just what I'm here to do, is help. justadadapproved.com. I do appreciate everybody's support. Again, thanks everybody for watching. And I think I've got something here. I'm going to try something. Let's try. I have this old ending. Today's podcast is brought to you by my very own coffee, Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee. It's available in the K-Cup form or 16-ounce bag. You can get it either whole bean or already pre-ground, and you can buy it at justadadcoffee.com. Underneath the video also, you will see the products display there where you can click on them. I hope somebody, when they ask you what your favorite cup of coffee is, that you say Just a Dad Simple Sip Coffee.